For the last 2 years, what have we constantly heard out of ESPN? We are the network about diversity, inclusion. We value people of all races and colors. I said a couple of weeks ago that Stephen A. Smith was on a crusade to turn ESPN into BET. I have received numerous requests from you guys this week to talk about the new and improved woke take. New and improved, of course, is in the eye of the beholder. In my opinion, First Take had nowhere to go but up. They could do nothing but improve. Getting rid of Max Kellerman was the best decision that ESPN and Stephen A. Smith could make. Max Kellerman is painful to watch. He's not entertaining. He doesn't know very much about the NFL and the NBA, which is almost 100% of what they talk about on Woke Take, besides SJW garbage. Max Kellerman's afraid to speak his mind. His opinions were more or less based on what he thought Stephen A. Smith wanted to hear. He was afraid of Stephen A. Smith. And I'll give Stephen A. a little bit of credit too. He was on Hot 97 this morning with Ebro and Peter Rosenberg. Well, Peter Rosenberg, by the way, another white dude who apologizes for being white. He's also 40 plus years old and still watches WWE wrestling, but you know what, to each his own. They asked Stephen A. Smith if he had anything to do with removing Max Kellerman from First Take. That's what the rumors have been for the last 2 or 3 weeks, that Stephen A. wanted Max off the show. And to his credit, he owned up to it. He stood by his decision to throw Max's ass off the show and said he had been trying to do so for the last 3 years. It was a rare case of honesty from someone in the mainstream sports media. I respect the fact that Stephen A. didn't duck the question, didn't beat around the bush with his answer. He just came out and admitted it. He wanted Max off the show. Hell, I think everyone in America wanted Max Kellerman off of First Take. Even though you guys have been requesting my opinion on the new and improved woke take, I've kind of sat back on this for a few days. I wanted to give the show a week, mainly to see the rotation of guests. I wanted to see if ESPN was going to prove my theory right, that Stephen A. Smith was going to turn the network, specifically Woke Take, the flagship show, into BET. So far, that is exactly what's happened. By the way, credit to Bobby Burak over at Outkick for doing a lot of this research. I was literally working on my notes for this video when he posted an article compiling all of this research for me, so appreciate it. Stephen A. Smith constantly whines and complains about white privilege. Let me show you the white privilege going on at ESPN right now. Here's a list of guests this week on First Take. Michael Irvin, Marcus Spears, Mike Tomlin, Bart Scott, Keyshawn Johnson, Damian Woody, upcoming guests, Deion Sanders, Michael Strahan, Eddie George, Amari Hardwick. First off, what the hell does Amari Hardwick have to do with sports? Amari Hardwick is an actor, a damn good actor. He was phenomenal as Ghost on Power. Power, one of the best shows ever made. And Amari Hardwick was the lead for 6 seasons. He's a phenomenal actor. That being said, I don't give a damn about his opinion on the NFL or the NBA. But did you notice something else on that list? Did you notice the diversity? Did you notice the inclusion? More like exclusion. Because there's not one damn white person on that list. Not one Hispanic person. Not one Asian person. Not one Indian. Hell, while we're at it, there's not a damn woman on the list either. What the hell's going on? I thought Stephen A. Smith and ESPN were all about diversity. I thought they were the inclusion network. But KC, they're having white Tim Tebow on tomorrow. Oh yeah, Tim Tebow, who's being used by ESPN as the token white guy. Kind of like Kevin Love was the token white guy on the Olympic team. That is, before Jalen Rose made a big deal about it and they replaced him and had an all-black team instead. Look, I don't care if ESPN wants to become BET. Like I told you guys before, I grew up watching BET. They had a lot of good shows when I was growing up. The guest on Woke Take, I like most of them. My issue has nothing to do with race. It's the hypocrisy. Don't tell me you're the diversity network when you're really anti-diversity. Don't put Stephen A. Smith on the air every time someone white is hired, whining about white privilege, when clearly it is impossible to be Caucasian and appear on Woke Take. I have made the case before that ESPN makes decisions based on race. A couple of months ago, we talked about a town hall that ESPN held on their mistreatment of black employees. Yeah, black employees have it real bad at ESPN. When's the last time a black on-air talent was laid off or fired by ESPN? Maria Taylor publicly humiliated the network. She ruined the career of Rachel Nichols. Now imagine for a second that the roles were reversed in that situation. What do you think would have happened if Rachel Nichols secretly recorded and then leaked private audio of Maria Taylor? ESPN wouldn't even launch an investigation. They would have fired Rachel Nichols on the spot. They didn't do that with Maria Taylor. Instead, they got on their knees and begged her to stay. They offered her a $2 million per year raise, which is $2 million more than she's worth. Rachel Nichols, the victim in the situation, was fired. Her career was ruined. Guess who ESPN is looking to replace Rachel Nichols with for their NBA coverage? Malika Andrews, Kendrick Perkins, who is not a host, and Richard Jefferson, who is not a host. Doesn't seem like diversity and inclusion to me, but it goes even further. Last week on Twitter, ESPN was promoting their college football coverage. They featured 14 headshots of various college football analysts. Guess how many were white, Asian, or Hispanic? Two. 2 out of 14. Last I checked, the faces of college football at ESPN were Kirk Herbstreit, Chris Fowler, and Lee Corso. Yet, none of them were featured on that promo. Instead, ESPN promoted such big household names like Christine Williamson, Jalen Johnson, Tiffany Blackman. Have you ever heard of any of them? Yeah, me either. And I'm pretty sure none of those 3 women have ever played college football. ESPN is clearly trying to even the demographics at the network. They're pushing to make the ratio 50-50. But let me tell you one of the problems you run into when you make your decisions based on race instead of qualifications. Believe it or not, the post office used to be a well-run institution. They used to hire the most qualified candidate. Now, around the time I was born, maybe even a few years before, the post office, they decided to implement affirmative action. They graded test scores differently for black people. They included a curve in the score. For example, white woman scores a 90 on a test. Black male scores a 75. With the affirmative action curve included, the black male would score higher, be given the job. Over time, the post office hired candidates that really weren't qualified, and this included positions in management. Service declined. Wait times for mail increased. I don't think I need to explain to you guys how god-awful the post office is today, especially in comparison to UPS or FedEx. The post office is horrible. It's an embarrassment. That is what happens when you make decisions based on race instead of hiring the most qualified candidate. ESPN is on this mission to prove that it's not racist, to prove it's truly the diversity network. How much more diverse can you get? African Americans make up 13% of the American population, but are working towards being 50% of ESPN's on-air talent, which is fine. But like I said, it's the hypocrisy that's the problem. Don't sell yourselves as the diversity network when the reality is you're black entertainment television. All right, time to let me know what you think. Give me your thoughts on Stephen A. Smith turning Woke Take and ESPN into BET. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I will see you guys tomorrow.